The NBA season hasn't even begun, but fans of a certain team are already in chaos. At the preseason games, the Phoenix Suns suffered a devastating and embarrassing loss at the hands of the Adelaide 36ers. Of course, the Suns fans and others in the NBA world were shocked and heavily criticized the American team. Devin Booker of the Suns immediately took to social media to respond. Let's get into this. First up, let's look at Devin Booker's reaction. Devin Booker was the first to react to the shocking loss that the Phoenix Suns suffered at the hands of the Adelaide 36ers. When we say nobody expected it, we mean nobody expected it. The game was almost embarrassing because they lost 134-124 to an international team. Nobody's lost to a team from overseas in literally years. That's why the Suns and Booker faced a lot of backlash and were the subject of a lot of trolling from the NBA world. Booker is an all-star, and he's played in many games in his career and faced quite a lot of backlash too. The 25-year-old Suns guard posted a photo on Instagram the day after the game. It was a screenshot from the famous LeBron video, and he captioned it, "Mood." That was enough of a clapback for Booker, but honestly, it wasn't enough. If anything, it backfired. But we'll get into that more later in this video. Devin Booker thought this was a smart comeback and would shut fans up. The Suns player posted the photo to his story and dipped. We haven't heard much since then. The rest of the team, too, didn't have a lot to say, it seems. Now, for all the NBA fans who don't know, some context to the LeBron video. The famous LeBron video sees the former Miami Heat member addressing a reporter's question. Many people were reveling in LeBron's losses and actively celebrating him. The guy had a lot of haters back in the day. In classic Bron fashion, he dealt with the question swiftly and calmly. His response was that, no matter what, the people rooting for him to lose every day are waking up and living the same life. He said they could keep being this way for the next few days or months, but they have to get back to the real world sooner or later. And he's right. LeBron said his response just meant that everyone moves on eventually, and he's right. Next up, Booker's constant fight against negativity. The Suns didn't perform the way the fans expected them to, but this loss was similar to their last game against the Dallas Mavericks. The difference was staggering because nobody thought that the Suns would lose. The Mavericks worked together, and so many players scored in double digits in that game back in May. Maybe teamwork does make dreams work. The Suns fans were extremely disappointed in the team's performance. We know NBA fans are known not to hold back their views and opinions. Twitter was a mess, and so was the team. Booker commented on the situation, tweeting how negativity is at an all-time high. Fans quickly flooded his tweet's comment section with suggestions for the Suns, how they should trade certain players, and much more. That's not the reaction that Booker was anticipating, but it's still good to know that many fans supported Booker and the rest of the team. Clearly, Devin doesn't hold back on social media and is one of the few players who take the liberty to show the fans and the rest of the team's critics that he's unfazed by their criticism. Moving on to what's so shocking about the Suns losing to the 36ers. Like we just said in the intro, and it's also pretty clear from the 36ers' name, they're an international team from Australia. They're the first team from the NBL since 2015 to beat an American team. It was truly shocking. The Suns were quite literally humiliated because of their 134-124 loss. What's worse is that their best players like Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul, and Michael Bridges were all playing. Even though they treated the game like a preseason warm-up, they got the best of their best to come out and play, even if it was for 22 minutes each. The 36ers' Craig Randall and Robert Franks shattered the Suns' defense, which was something nobody was expecting. Randall alone scored 35 points, with his teammate Robert Franks coming in close at 32 points. Even the legendary Eddie Johnson was so shocked he couldn't hide it. Commentators said, "I ain't never seen anything like this before," and he's right. The only other NBL team that came close to beating a team from the NBA was Melbourne United against the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's an amazing feat for the 36ers to beat the Suns and be 10 points ahead. This whole thing seems like a preseason disaster for the Suns. Let's hope they can recover in time because the next season is close by. Let's talk about how Devin's reaction backfired. The Suns were bummed out, and so were their fans. It definitely backfired if Devin Booker wanted to show the fans he was unbothered. People were shocked that Booker would use the video of LeBron making a statement about being eliminated from the NBA Finals to compare his team's loss in a preseason game against an NBL team. The 36ers barely have a $2 million budget for talent, and when you compare that to the Suns' $270 million, that's peanuts. As if this wasn't enough for comparison, the 36ers finished 7th in the NBL last year, meaning they're nowhere near the best team, but they still beat the Suns. While the Suns have had a few bumps in the road since last season ended, everybody thought this game could be their way out of it. Now that they've lost this seemingly insignificant preseason one, it will be difficult for fans to hold out hope. Conversely, trolls aren't stopping anytime soon, so the Suns should brace themselves for it. Many reporters commented on this whole ordeal too. Trey Matthews said that Booker is making it harder and harder to root for him and support him because of his reactions. Another described his little stunt on Instagram as a lame incident. Farbadin Ashari from Sports Illustrated said that what Booker did was the opposite of what he should have done if he wanted people to stop making fun of him. So, what's next for the Phoenix Suns? The official NBA season hasn't started yet, but this could signify they're getting too confident. Maybe this will help them re-strategize. For now, let's get into some predictions about the Suns. Next season, they will play 82 games, and according to Bleacher Report's official predictions, it could be at a 52-30 record. Even though many people think that plummeting from 64 wins to 52 wins is a stretch, according to BR's Andy Bailey, there's a precedent, which is why this whole scenario is very likely. In the 2014-15 season, the Atlanta Hawks dominated the regular season, but in the Eastern Conference Finals, they fumbled badly. The Suns' defense is weak, as we saw in Games 6 and 7 last season. Plus, DeAndre Ayton has a lot of uncertainty. People expect him to request a trade. Even though their key players are back on the roster, the team isn't on the same page. That's what led to their loss against the Adelaide 36ers. Finally, at the end of the day, Booker is probably unfazed. The All-Stars had a fantastic run in his almost decade-long career. One loss doesn't affect him. If the Suns don't get better, he can request a trade anytime in the future. There's nothing for him to be worried about, at least right now. Forbes just added him to the world's highest-paid athletes in the 25 and under category list, and he's set for a very long time. His contract with the Suns is getting him over $200 million, and when you combine that with the sponsorships and endorsements, that's a lot of money. He's on his way to becoming a legend, and the Suns' underwhelming performance isn't stopping him. Booker is probably one of the NBA's top marketing attractions. You've probably seen him in Corona beer ads, not once but twice this year. He's also launched his own all-natural sports drink venture called Coco 5, and people seem to love it. As if all this wasn't enough, the guy is one of the cover athletes of NBA 2K23. Nike also seems to love him, as he's their cover boy for the Nike Zoom GT Cut 2, along with WNBA player Sabrina Ionescu from the New York Liberty. Even though he's worn his idol Kobe Bryant's shoes for most of his NBA career, he's been seen wearing his own Bread shoes that he launched with Nike in a few games last year. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think about Booker's reaction? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.